Welcome back to the show. You know, we are in a state of emergency in sports. And the sport that really, at least the NFL, at least if they can find, I believe in Roger Goodell, and I believe that if they decide to go head on into this issue, you know, if they decide to go head on, which I think they will, I hope, we all hope that they will. If they go head on, they'll get this resolved and we'll be playing football next year. Or we'll be watching men play football next season. But for the sport of baseball and for Major League Baseball, there's really no hope. There's really no hope. You see, the biggest story in baseball could have and should have been and would have been in years past Alex Rodriguez, his pursuit to a 600th home run. Can you imagine? 600 home runs, professional home runs, just swing at the bat as it's looking and it's gone. You do that 600 times. It should be something special, right? And you know why? You know why? A sport that has more than any other sport, at least in football, it's about winning and championships. In basketball, it's about championships. Well, now it's about playing with your best friends, but for the most part, it's about championships. In baseball is a sport of stats. It's a sport for stats. So, let me feed you some stats for you. Let me tell you the names in the home run list. Top 10 home run list. And when I read you these names, most of these names you might just cringe. Number 10, Jim Thome, 577 home runs. Number 9, Mark McGwire. Mark, I'm not going to talk about the past. McGwire, steroid user. Number 8, Frank Robinson, the late great Frank Robinson. Number 7, Alex Rodriguez, who everybody wanted this guy to be the golden boy of baseball, but he himself admitted to steroids while he played at Texas just to keep up with everybody. Ain't that how it always is? You know, just to keep up with everybody. Alex Rodriguez. Oh, the next name is Sammy Sosa, who had a cork bat in a baseball game. How can you be that desperate for home runs where you have to have a cork bat? King Griffey, 630 home runs, good player, great player. Willie Mays, who's a Hall of Famer. You know, and let me correct myself on Frank Robinson. Frank Robinson, we'll get some little stats about him. He's not dead. Okay, I just wanted to kind of, you know. But I was looking at the list, Hall of Famers. But you know the rest of the list. You know Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds. The name at the top of the list is public enemy number one. Barry Bonds. Unbelievable. A sport that relies that much on stats, and yet your top guy has, and yes, Frank Robinson has not passed away. I apologize for that mistake. But Barry Bonds, my goodness. And you wonder why baseball is at the state that it's in. How come this is the one league, is it truly possible that the Pittsburgh Pirates cannot have a winning season for 16 years? Consecutive years. It is well documented based on ratings that if the Yankees, Red Sox, or the Cubs is not in the World Series, more than likely you're not going to watch. A casual fan is not going to watch the sport of baseball. Now, why is that the case? What's the difference between, I understand football. So, football is shorter schedule. So I'm not even going to put the NFL in this. But what separates the NBA from Major League Baseball? The NBA is a players' league. Now, up until this new trend of best friends and elite players joining up on one group, of one team, up until that point, for many, many years, the NBA was about the best players facing off against each other from all points of the league. David Stern in the NBA, they advertise their league as a players' league. You can attach yourself to a player on one team or another, and you have a rooting interest for that. You go around, ask a casual fan to name two guys on the roster of the Tampa Bay Rays, and they can't do it. And yet Tampa Bay is in a race with the Yankees in the AL East. Oh, and Lord knows we'll have problems if San Diego were to make the playoffs. San Diego is playing perhaps the best baseball that they have ever played before in their franchise history. Yet nobody knows anybody who plays for the Padres. Nobody knows. Yet we know about Kevin Durant, even though he plays Oklahoma City. Even though he plays for the Oklahoma City Thunder, the expansion team. Face it, the problem with baseball, their marketing sucks. Their marketing is pathetic. The decisions made by the commissioner, put that in quotation marks, the commissioner, Buck Silic, who absolutely has no common sense of how to run the sport of baseball. None. Unbelievable. this may take a couple segments to figure out what exactly is wrong with baseball. You know, and it's not because of the wild card. And also, what is up with these traditionalists of baseball? Just keep the way things were in the old days, compared to, you know, that's against the division series and against the way the All-Star game was played. Those were actually good decisions. I'll tell you why those were good decisions and why everything else was bad decisions when we come back.